I just survived my very first night winter camping in sub-zero temperatures, and now I'm going to share with you all of the gear I have that made that possible. If you're brand new here, my name is Nina, and I like to do lots of solo hiking and camping around British Columbia. But this trip was something that I had never tried out before. Camping on snow in sub-zero temperatures in the middle of winter in Canada. I am in E.C. Manning Provincial Park at a campground called Lone Duck 1. I chose this campground based on a recommendation from my friend Jo at MEC. She mentioned that this was a really good first-timer campground due to the fact that you can either drive your vehicle right in if the snowpack allows, or there is a parking lot that's like right here. So super, super close. And if I decided that I couldn't hack it, then I could just get into my vehicle to warm up or actually use the warming hut. But I had a good time and I was toasty warm all night. So let's talk about the gear that kept me that way. I think a big mistake a lot of people make their first time winter camping is using their 3-season gear, which won't cut it. It's not designed for sub-zero temps and camping on snow. So for that reason, MEC has gifted me a winter rated setup to show you guys. This is the MEC TGV 2-person 4-season tent. This tent is built specifically for expedition and winter camping, so it is designed to shed heavy snowfall and withstand really strong winds. But I'm using it pretty casually today. I will be taking it touring with me before the winter ends because it is small and light enough to carry with you when you're backpacking. Now that I have told you about the tent, let's move on to my sleep system. This is key for keeping you warm when you're sleeping on snow. First things first, inside the tent, I placed 2 blankets on the tent floor. So I put one big blanket on the bottom to cover the whole floor, and then I placed a wool blanket right on top to help insulate the floor even more and keep my body heat from escaping into the ground. This is my entire sleep setup as you would see it in the tent. I'm going to go through it and explain to you why I use each layer. All right, it's not the most level ground, but it is more level in the tent, I promise you that. For my sleep system, I start with the Nemo Switchback Closed Self Foam Pad. This adds a bit more padding and additional insulation underneath my sleeping pad. Next is my sleeping pad. This is the Thermarest NeoAir X-Therm NXT, and it is designed for camping in some of the coldest conditions on Earth, with an R value of 7.3. Basically, the higher the pad's R value, the better it will insulate you from cold surfaces. Quick hot tip about blowing up one of these air mattresses. Do not use your mouth. Don't blow hot air into there because it will create condensation and reduce your pad's R value. Instead, use the pump sack that they come with. The pump sack makes the sleeping pad a lot easier to blow up and will also give the air that's coming out of your lungs a chance to cool down before it goes into your bag. But lately, I splurged on something that makes it even easier and keeps your sleeping pad even warmer to blow it up with. I bought this Flextail mini air pump and I'm never going back. This thing is awesome. You just double click and it will blow up your sleeping pad for you. This only took, I think, maybe like a minute or 2 for mine to fully inflate. It also doubles as a handy little camp lantern. To turn it on, you just click and hold. And then there's several different light settings. And the brightest one was actually like really bright in my tent. So I really enjoyed having this little thing. This will be coming with me on every single backpacking trip from now on. All right, next, let's move on to the cozy part, the sleeping bag. This is the MEC Talon -17-degree unisex sleeping bag with an 800 fill power of down. The temp last night dropped to about -5, I'm guessing. This kept me nice and toasty warm. One thing you need to know about sleeping bags is when you're going shopping for one, check the ratings. Sleeping bags will always have 3 different ratings inside them. So you'll usually find the sleeping bag's temperature ratings right inside here. The advertised rating of this bag is -17, but that is its limit. What I always look for when I'm buying a sleeping bag is the comfort rating. That is the rating that a cold sleeper like me will be comfortable until. Then you have the extreme rating. This one is -38 degrees Celsius. That is a temperature where you will most likely stay alive, but you could have health damage due to hypothermia. So when you're buying a bag, you always want to look at the ratings. If it's advertised at -17, which is the limit here, if you're going out in -17, you're probably going to want something a lot warmer, like double that, so you have a bit of a buffer. To add a little bit of extra warmth to this sleeping bag, because I am a cold sleeper, I included a sleeping bag liner. So this is a Sea to Summit. I believe this one is the extreme one, and it's supposed to add about 15 degrees more warmth to your sleeping bag. Having a sleeping bag liner will extend the life of your sleeping bag and just keep it cleaner in general. If you ever come home from a backpacking trip where you just stink and have to wash your sleeping bag, well, you could just easily wash your sleeping bag liner. The final layer in my sleep system helps me battle condensation, and that is a lightweight synthetic blanket that I just drape over top of my whole system. This adds a little bit of extra warmth, and any condensation that is forming from my body heat will make its way out of all of my other layers and settle on this synthetic one. You don't want condensation settling on your down sleeping bag because when down gets wet, it basically doesn't work anymore. So you want to avoid that at all costs. And synthetic can get wet, but will still keep you warm. I learned this trick on YouTube from one of my favorite outdoor YouTubers. It actually worked perfectly last night. There was a tiny bit of condensation on top of this blanket and none on my down sleeping bag, which was awesome. Plus, it was just like extra cozy. And we cannot forget to talk about pillows. So something I learned through some research is when you're winter camping, a air pillow or like a blow-up pillow is not necessarily that ideal. The cold air gets in that pillow might make your head a bit colder. So I have this Thermarest padded with a bunch of foam inside. It still packs down kind of small. I don't know if I'd necessarily want to bring it backpacking with me, but I did cheat a little bit and brought my king size pillow from home. Highly recommend, but this is definitely not something that I would bring backpacking. Now that you've seen my whole sleep system, let's jump to last night and show you how cozy I was inside the tent. I officially made it into the tent, all cozy, ready for bed. I've washed my face, brushed my teeth. I put on my merino wool toque and also my merino wool buff so that when I get into my sleeping bag, I just kind of like cozy up and then lights out. A tip to stay warm, I've used this for a while, is to boil hot water and put it into a Nalgene bottle and then you put it in your sleeping bag. I put it right between my thighs because there's some major arteries there and it just keeps me warm all night and then I can drink the water in the morning. But there is a risk always that this could leak or open up. So I just want to make sure it's nice and tight so that doesn't happen. So in the blanket, that's a good tip. Good night. And we're back to today. Another really key important thing to keep you warm is your layering system. This is my camp outfit. This is what I hang out in after I've done my camp chores, so I know I'm not going to get too sweaty. On the bottom, I start with a merino wool base layer by Kartra. These ones are nice and warm, plus I love the color. On top of that, I'm wearing a water and wind resistant pant by Mech. These are the women's Borderland pant. They have a bit of stretch in them, which is awesome. To keep my feet warm, I'm wearing a pair of Fubuki boots. I wouldn't wear these if I was hiking, but they are a great boot for walking in deep snow or hanging out around camp. Back on top, I'm wearing the matching Kartra merino wool base layer. Kartra is a woman-founded business, so I choose to support them whenever I can. Next up is a merino wool mid layer, another favorite of mine by Kartra. To keep my neck warm in cold temps, I'm usually wearing some sort of buff or neck warmer. This one is from Montec. Onto my final layer, the Mech Tremblant women's down jacket. It's wind and water resistant, plus I love the color of this one. And we can't forget about the fingies. I'll usually wear a merino wool glove liner underneath a waterproof pair of gloves or mittens. You lose a lot of body heat out of the top of your head, so I like to wear a wool toque when I'm winter camping. This one by Buff is fleece lined for extra comfort. So that is basically what I wear to just chill out at camp. I can also pop on a shell over top of this if it starts to snow. For sleeping, I'll basically just wear the merino wool that is underneath here, as well as some warm, fuzzy wool socks. And I brought my TNA Super Puff pants. We can actually jump to this morning when I woke up inside the tent and you can see me all cozy in my sleep system and my sleep layering. And I will tell you about my love for these pants and the Mech down booties that I have. Good morning. My lens is all fogged up. I've officially survived my very first night winter camping. These little hand warmers are clutch for staying warm. These ones are the Hot Hands super warmers. Are super warm. Like it's still really, really warm right now. I'm going to pop them into my boots. so that I can have warm and cozy boots when I get out of the tent. While we're on the subject of feet, another thing that came in absolutely clutch are these down booties by Mech. I actually slept with these in my sleeping bag, along with these very cute Michelin Man down pants. So I stayed nice and warm and cozy all night. Time to get out of here. Okay, so that's it for what I wear when I'm winter camping. I already had a cheeky breakfast first thing when I woke up this morning in the warming hut, but I think it's time for a second breakfast. So let's show you what I eat for breakfast when I'm winter camping. Setting up for breakfast here. Just use my trusty jet boil as usual to boil some water. Nothing fancy today. I just brought another one of my favorites, the Quaker instant oats. And instead of using a bowl, I just open this up and pour the boiling water right inside it. Just makes for very easy cleanup. And we cannot forget about coffee. This is the Kuju pour over instant coffee. You're gonna open up the top of it. These little guys expand and they're just going to sit like that. And so after I boil the water, I just pour it over here, let it drain, pour it over, let it drain, pour over coffee. While we're waiting for this to boil, let's jump to last night. I was sitting exactly here with a fire going and I was making my dinner. So I can show you what I had for dinner in the dark of night in winter. Okay, let's go. So for dinner, I just have this Mountain House chili mac with beef. Good to have a hot meal before you go sleep in cold temperatures because it keeps your core body temperature up. So I just have to boil some water and let it cook for 10 minutes. Water goes in here. I don't light anything on fire here. And now we just have to wait for the jet boil to work its magic. Where's that lid? All right, we've got boiling water. That's what it looks like on the inside. And we're just gonna rehydrate it. All right, and with these, you just seal them right back up, and then however long it says on the package to wait is what you wait, and then you have a hot meal. Doesn't look too bad. Now, I think it's time to move on to my favorite sleepy time tea. I don't know if any of you are Celestial Seasonings fans, but if you've followed my channel for a while, you know I am. Sleepy time. And we're back. We are boiling, so it's time to make some coffee. Just pours over like that. And you just repeat that until you have yourself a nice cup of joe. Now that breakfast is done, it's time to get back to camp and pack up to head back to Vancouver. We're back where it all started, right here in my tent. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this one. It really, really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, so I appreciate that. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye! Some things I have learned so far winter camping. Everything takes longer than in the summer. Give yourself lots of time. Eat a proper meal before you go, because when you have to do all that extra work and you're hangry, it is just impossible. So eat a proper meal. Okay. Bye.